Hi guys, you're welcome back to Judas Fashion Home channel. If you are returning subscribers, you're highly welcome back. And if you are coming across my video for the first time, thank you for stopping by. And please kindly subscribe to my channel to get more videos like this. So please don't forget to turn on your notification bell so you can get notified when I post a new video. So, and I want to say thank you to my subscribers. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. I really love you all. Thank you so much. So, in today's story, I'll be sharing with you on how I made this beautiful jumpsuit with a puffy sleeve. So here are the materials I'll be making use of. So my fabric, I'm having 3.5 yards. I don't really know the name of this fabric, but it's so soft and silky. So I'm having 3.5 yards. So here I'm having my pattern paper. I'll be doing a little bit of drafting before transferring to my fabric, then my other drafting materials. So yeah, I'll be placing my pattern paper on my table. I use my masking tape to hold it down. Then I'll be marking 4 inches. The 4 inches is for my overlap. So I'll connect that to a straight line. So after that, from that my 4 inches, I'll mark my shoulder. Shoulder 16 divided by 2. I've indicated that. Then for my shoulder line, I'll come down by 9 inches for my chest line. Then 17 inches for my half length, waist length. Then the 2 inches remaining for my allowance. So I'll rule my vertical lines like this. So I'll label the down part as allowance, then the 9 inches as my chest line. So I'll mark that 8 inches my shoulder line on the chest line. So I'll connect that to a straight line. Then I'll come down by 1 inches on my shoulder for my shoulder slope. Then I'll mark 3.5 for my neckline. Then the depth of my neckline, I want it to be 1 inches above my chest line, so that is 8 inches. So I'll be connecting it to a V shape like this down to where my overlap will be. So now I'll be using my curvy ruler to curve my armhole you see me doing. So here on my bust, for my bust measurement, I'm making use of my bust measurement divided by 4 plus extra 2 inches seam allowance. Then on my waist, I'll be making use of my waist measurement divided by 4 plus 2 inches seam allowance. So I've connected that. So here I'll be marking my bust point 11 inches. I'll connect that to a straight line. Then I'll mark my nipple to nipple 8 inches divided by 4. I've indicated that. Then while my bust point is 11 inches, I came down by 1 inches for my side dart, side bust dart. So I've already shaded that part that I'll be cutting now. Then on my waist, I'll mark 5 inches for my waist dart. So I've already ruled that. So now I'll grab my scissors and cut. So I've done cutting the front. So now I'll be slashing the side dart. Then I'll go ahead and close it like this. Then I'll be slashing one side of my waist dart also. So for me to enable to close the side bust dart. So I'll take my masking tape to close the side bust dart. So the draping on this front bodies is not really much. So I just want a little bit drape. I don't want it to get to the shoulder. That's why I'm using this method. So I've done slashing it in 5 places. So I'll keep that aside. Then I'll move to the back. So I'll use my masking tape to hold down this pattern paper. I don't know why it's folding up. So I'll be taking my zipper allowance 2 inches. I'll connect that to a straight line. So after that, for my shoulder, I'll mark 9 inches for my chest line. Then I'll mark my half length, then plus 2 inches allowance. Then I'll be taking the measurement of my shoulder, 16 divided by 2. I'll mark that on my shoulder, then shoulder line and on my chest line. Then I'll connect it to a straight line. Then for my back neckline, I'll be making use of the width is 3.5, then the depth is 2 inches. So I'll go ahead and label my zipper allowance as zipper allowance. Then I'll come down by 1 inches for my shoulder slope. Then I'll be taking the measurement of my bust divided by 4 plus 2 inches seam allowance. Then the measurement of my waist divided by 4 plus 2 inches seam allowance. Then on my zipper allowance, I'll go in on my waist area, I'll go in by 1 inches to eliminate my zipper bulge. Then I'll connect it to where my neckline is. So after that, I'll take my scissors and cut. So I'll go ahead and curve my armhole for the back. Then after that, I'll label chest line, waistline, then my allowance. Initially, this is my waistline. Sorry, I didn't say that. I said that earlier. I stopped at 15 inches for my waistline because I'll be adding band to it. So after that, I added 2 inches allowance. So here I'll be opening up my slash and spread. Then I'll be spreading it with the part of 1 or 1.5 inches. So it's just a little draping that will be adding to this down part. So I'll go ahead and use my chalk to trace it out. So my neckline area, I'll be adding half inches down to where my overlap is. Then I'll add half inches to the shoulder line also. So after that, I'll cut. So I'm draping the down part for you to see how it's going to look like. So I'll keep that aside. I'll cut the back also. So I'll use my chalk to trace the pattern out. So I'll add half inches to the shoulder line also. Just only the shoulder, that's where I'm adding half inches to. So I'll cut the rest out. If you are making use of this type of fabric, I don't really know the name of this fabric, like I said earlier, but it's so soft. It wants to look like Duchess, but it's not Duchess material. So when you are cutting yours, just make sure you iron it. If you're having a rough fabric like this, just iron it first before cutting it. So your scissors won't be hanging at the alongside when cutting it. You can see that I'm having some rough edges after cutting it, so I'll go ahead and still trim those parts out. So I'm done with this. I'll go ahead and keep this aside. Then we move on to the back. So we move on to the trouser cutting. So yeah, I'll be folding my fabric with the measurements of my hip circumference 40 inches divided by 4. That is 10 inches, then plus extra 5 inches. So making 15 inches. So I'm folding my fabric here with the measurements of 15 inches on fold. You can fold it in 14 inches also on fold. So I'm trying to arrange my fabric. So after that, I'll go ahead and mark my starting line. So from that my starting line, I'll go up by my half length. My half length is 17 inches. I'll take my half length up. Then I'll mark my shoulder to my hip. That is 26 inches. Then my shoulder to my nail, 36 inches. I'll mark that also. Then my shoulder to my full length is 54 inches. So I'll mark the 54 inches, then I'll add extra 3 inches allowance to it. So after that, from that my hip line, that 26 inches, I'll come down by 1.5 inches. You can make it 2 inches. So it depends on how free you want your crotch line to be. So my crotch line now is 1.5 inches away from where my hip line stops. So that is 27.5 inches. 27.5 inches. So after I'll be marking my hip measurement circumference divided by 4, that is 10 inches. So I've marked that on my waist plus 1 inches seam allowance. So I'll connect that to my crotch line. Then for my crotch depth, I'm making use of my hip divided by 8. My hip divided by 4 is 10 inches. Then divide it by 4 again. So I'll have 2.5. So I'll mark that 2.5 for the depth of my crotch, for my crotch depth. So I'll curve it up. I'll just give it a little curve around it. So at the center front where I marked that 11 inches for my hip, so I'll be taking my waist measurements there to the hip side. So I'll mark my waist measurement is 32 divided by 4, that is 8 inches. So I'll add plus 2 inches allowance, 1 inches for my dart. Then I'll be taking front dart, then plus 1 inches for seam allowance. So I've connected that to my hip area. Then from that my hip area, so I'll connect it down. So when I get to my lane nail area, I'll go in by 1 inches. So just to give that part a little bit shape, just to make that part shapey. From that my hip, I'll curve it. I'll go in by 1 inches on my nail area. Then I'll curve it down to my full length. Then from the side here, for my crotch depth, I'll just connect that straight down to my full length. So after that, I'll go ahead and cut. So now I'll be folding for my back trouser. So I folded the front by 14 inches, so I'll add like extra extra 4 to 5 inches for the back. So here at the upper part, I'll come down. I'll be leaving like 1.5 inches there because I'll be extending my back trouser up. My back trouser will be a little bit higher by 1 inches. Then I'll mark that up. Then I'll connect it to the side. Then at the center front of this trouser, I'll go in by 2 inches. So I'll move that to the side. So that is what I'm marking now, right to my hip. So that is the 2 inches that I take from the center front of this trouser. So I've extend it to the side of my trouser. Then when I get to the nail, I'll mark 1.5. I will not be marking 2 inches then, just to shape the nail area. Then to the full length, I'll mark 1 inch. So I'll connect that down. Then for the depth of my back crotch, I'll add 2 inches to extend the back crotch. Then I'll connect that down to my nail area. Then where I went in for the back, for the center back, so I'll connect that down to the crotch depth like you see me doing now. So now I'll be adding 2 inches for my zipper allowance. So the zipper allowance will stop right at where my hip line is. So that is all for this back. So I'll go ahead and explain again. So when I place my front to cut my back, I'll come down by like, I'll be leaving like 1.5 inches because I'll be extending my back trouser by 1 inches, because normally the back trouser used to be a little bit longer, to accommodate the bump. So it will be a little bit higher by 1 inches. So that's why I'll be coming down by 1.5 inches. Then after that, at the center front of my trouser, I'll go in, I'll mark 2 inches in. Then that 2 inches I took from the center front of my trouser, I will extend it to the side of this front trouser. Then I'll mark that. Then that is where I'm cutting right here. So that will be for the back trouser. I hope you guys are getting me. Then after that, then when I get to my hip area, I'll add that 2 inches there also. Then to my crotch line, I'll add the 2 inches there. Then when I get to my nail, I'll add 1.5 inches. Then to my full length, I'll add 1 inches to it. Then for the crotch depth for this bag, I will extend it by 2 inches. Then that 2 inches that I extend it by, then I'll connect it to where I took that 2 inches for the back from. That is how I'll be covering my crotch depth for the back. Then after that, I'll add my 2 inches for zipper allowance. Then my zipper allowance will stop right by my hip line. I hope you guys understood me. So yeah, I'm done with the front and the back trouser. So I'll move over to my sleeve. So for my sleeve, I'll mark 4 inches. It's a puffy sleeve, so I'll mark 4 inches, then curve my sleeve first, curve my armhole first, then I'll connect that where my armhole is. I'll connect it back to that 4 inches for my puffy sleeve. Then I'll mark my sleeve circumference, round sleeve circumference at the full length of my sleeve. Then I'll add seam, 1 inch seam allowance, then I'll cut it like this. So yeah, I'll be cutting my lining. I'll be using this actual fabric for my lining also. So I'll cut for the front and for the back. So I'm done cutting. Okay, sorry, three is still remaining one. So I'm done cutting the lining. So here I'll be cutting my band. So for my band, I'll be making use of my waist circumference, that is 32 inches, then plus 4 inches. So I'll be having like 36. So the length of my band will be around 36. So for now, but I'm just cutting it in SS. So I'm just cutting in SS for now. Then the width of this band, yeah, I'm cutting is 6 inches. But if you're making for yours, just cut around like 10 inches for your band. So maybe after plating it, you can just go ahead and trim it. Because I later joined my band because it wasn't wide enough for what I want to use, because I'll be plating it in the middle. I'll be having two plates at the middle. And this band will be having a lining. So I'm cutting the lining right now. And my band will be 3 inches wide. So 3 inches wide. That is what I'll be adding to the upper bodies before adding my trouser to it. So for my trouser here, I'll be joining my front center line. So I'll go ahead and join my front center line. Like I'm placing it here. I'll take it to my sewing machine and join it. Then also for the back, I'll join my center line to where my zipper allowance stop, from the crotch down to where the zipper allowance stops. So I'm done joining the center line, and then I've done picking my dart. So I use my nipple to nipple for my front dart. That's 4 inches. So I pick my dart. Then the length of my dart, I made use of 5 inches. So yeah, I'll be trimming out the dart for the back. I trimmed out the 1 inches for the back dart because I won't be adding that to the back. So yeah, I'll be joining my crotch. So here is the back. So I'll place the front trouser. So I'll be joining from my crotch depth down to the length of this trouser. I'll do that to the both sides. So I'm done joining the crotch to the down part to the full length of my trouser. So here I'll be shaping my trouser. So by half inches allowance on the both side, I'll shape it down. So I've done shaping my trouser. So I'll go ahead and iron it, give it a good press. Then after that, so here I will be joining my actual fabric and the lining. I'll be joining for the front and for the back. The neckline. So I'm done joining the turning my fabric with the lining. So here I've done ironing. I've gone to iron it. I've ironed, give it a good press. So here I'll be marking the length of this top. So I'll reduce it to 15 inches. So yeah, that is what I'm marking right here. So I'll go ahead and trim it out. So I'll be adding 3 inches for my band. So after using half inches to join the shoulder, then half inches to join this top, then to the band. So I'll be having 14 inches and plus 3 inches for my band. I'll be having 17 inches. So here is how I'll be closing my overlap. I don't want it to be open, so I'll flip it up like this and go ahead and stitch it. So the joining will be showing on the wrong side. So I'll go ahead and mark 15 inches for the back bodies also. So I'll go ahead and trim the rest of it. So I'll be placing my front and my back to join my shoulder. I'll use my pin to secure it. I'll go ahead and join my shoulder. So I've done joining my shoulder. So I've done draping the down part of it. You can see how it's looking beautiful. So I've done ironing it to secure the drape. So now I'll be shaping my top with the measurement of my bust, then and the measurement of my waist. So you can see that the sewing is showing on the wrong side of this fabric where I stitched down the overlap. That part is optional. You can go ahead and leave yours like that, but I don't want mine to be opening. That was the reason why I stitched it down. So here is my band. I've done adding and soft interface to it just to make it a little bit thicker. So because this fabric is light, then the width of this band is 6 inches. So here's the one I'll be using for the lining. So I'm having 4 inches. So like I said earlier, that when you're cutting your band, this was when I was trying to drape the center. So I indicate the center of this band, that is 3 inches. Then I mark a 1.5 to the upper part, then to the down part. So that is how I'll be draping it. So I later realized that the upper part, what is left there, I'm not having much fabric left there. So that was the reason why I had to cut like extra 4 inches of this fabric. Then I add my soft interface to it. So I'll be joining it. That was the reason why I said you should make yours like when you're cutting this band, the width of this band should be like 10 inches. So yeah, I've cut the one I'll be joining to it just to make it a little bit longer. So after joining it, so you can see this part that I'm joining. There's no how I'm going to skip that part. So I'll still go ahead and fold that part and stitch it. So I'll be taking like 1 inches of fold like that. Go ahead and stitch it. So at the upper part here, I'll be leaving like 2 inches at the upper part. The down part, so I'll be leaving like 2 inches. So I've done stitching it. So here I'll go ahead and use my iron to press it down. Like you see me doing. So I purposely want this middle place where I start my draping from to have a little bit space. But when you're making yours, you can go ahead to just make it a little bit deep, like the space at the center won't be showing where the drape starts from. This part I'm moving up, that center that is showing, you can go ahead to close yours, but I just want mine to be a little bit open a with a half inches. So this inner part here where my interface is, so I'll be using the 4 inches. So the total length of this band here, you know I said I'll be making use of 3 inches of my band that I'll be adding to the upper bodies and to the trouser part. So here I'm having 4 inches after draping, after pleating it, after pleating the two pleats I added to it. So I'll be having 4 inches. So that's what I'm having on my lining also. So I'll go ahead and stitch this lining to it. So just to close the interface. So I've done stitching the lining to it. So here I'll be placing the band to my upper bodies and go ahead and stitch it. So I've done stitching the band. You can see the inside of it, how it's looking neat. So this down part here, down part of the band, I'll go ahead and stitch it to my trouser. So here is the look after stitching the part to my trouser. So I've done adding my zipper to it also. So for my armhole, I'll go ahead and trim it down a little bit. So I'll do that to the second armhole also. I'll trim it out. So after trimming it out, I'll go ahead and add my sleeves to it. So at the end of the day, this is what we have. You can see how beautiful it's looking. So thank you guys for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you have not, and please don't forget to like, share this video, and please don't forget to drop your comment if you have anything to ask about. I really appreciate you guys for subscribing to my channel. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. May God bless you all. So I'll see you guys in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much. Much kiss, much love from me to you guys. Thank you. Bye.